What? Hi.
Hey,
Hi there.
what's going on?
Oh, so much.
How you doing?
So much. I'm doing all right. I feel pretty level.
I'm okay right this second.
Feeling a little balanced. Feeling, with the way the world is currently,
Yeah.
I'm feeling as balanced as I think someone could. Which is pretty off balance, but
So it's like the very definition of that poster that we had as kid, or we saw as kids, was this like just hang in there. Where's the little kitty?
yeah, with the little orange and white tabby cat hanging onto the clothesline.
Hang in there.
Hang it, and then it's a black border and just says in white text, hang in there. Yes.
Yes, that one.
Exactly that.
So I'm leaning on an ice pack right now. With my back.
Oh dear.
The back's trying to. The back keeps and always will forever go try to like take me out, I think.
Well, you've been doing some magnificent gardening.
I've been trying to.
No, you're doing so great. I took photographs and shared it with my work colleagues today, which I don't normally share personal stuff with them just because, I don't know, I guess I've been there quite a while now, but it still feels kind of like
Business only.
businessy. Yeah. And I haven't really made any like solid friendship connections, but I was so proud of your peas. I was just like, look at my partner's work. She has become a tremendous provider of vegetables, but they're beautiful. You should put some photographs on the Instagram.
Yeah.
Of
So
the peas.
I started everything from seeds this year.
Yeah.
And I just was doing some digging, no pun intended, some digging around and found like the best like way to do soil without any animal products. Like most gardeners use like worm poop and manure and stuff like that. But I don't do that. Right. I want mine to be completely like, just chill. So I did like peat moss and regular soil, and I just kind of mixed it, and I found a really good balance of things. And I did like leaves and sticks and my own compost. So I think I've found a really good balance for it. So I've got parsley coming up. Yeah. I've got broccoli. I've already hardened that off and put it in. I started those seeds inside this last spring. And so I got broccoli plants. I got lots of spinach. I've been harvesting that like I think 4 times now, which is really good and cool. I don't have to buy spinach. Yeah. I've got 2 cucumber plants that are big and strong, and so they're gonna start flowering soon. I've got peas. We talked about that. Yeah. This has been the second harvest, and it's interesting. Our 6-year-old will not eat frozen peas thawed out. She will not eat cooked peas, but she will eat peas right out of the garden. She'll, even in the pod, she'll just break it open, and it looks unusual, right? It has like a little spine, and you pop it open, and then they're kind of still hooked in there. Yeah. But she'll pick them out. She ate like 6 or 7 of them today.
Full pods or 6 or 7 peas?
Full pods.
Oh.
Like she'll just break them open and just sit there and watch Pokemon and eat them. She won't eat anything else. Like, that's really great.
Do you think
I'm
you
glad
could
about
grow?
it.
That makes me wonder if you could. Do you think you could grow edamame? Because I like edamame.
Oh, probably.
And it's a similar type of plant.
Yeah.
It has a pod, and you pop them open and eat them.
Probably.
I bet she'd like those too.
Maybe. Yeah. Those are supposed to be good for you. I'm growing 2 cherry tomato plants from an actual cherry tomato that I just buried in some soil. I got lots of marigolds going. The only thing that's giving me a little bit of trouble is the petunias. Yeah. I don't have any popped out yet, but I got some lemongrass coming up, and I've got some mint. And even the rosemary is...
Oh, no.
Rosemary
you
is...
planted mint?
Uh-huh.
Oh, we're in trouble.
It's in the barrel. It's in one of the barrels, so it won't take over anything.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, because I know.
I just keep seeing online, don't plant mint.
I know.
Don't plant mint.
It takes over, so you got to container plant it.
I gotcha. Okay, cool.
And also, I know that I know I've talked about it on here, but our listeners probably know. I've struggled with pumpkins, right? My goal, one of my life's goals, because I've added a new one recently. One of my life's goals is to grow a pumpkin from a seed.
Right.
To a big plant, have it fruit into a pumpkin, harvest that pumpkin and then make a pumpkin pie from scratch, veganized, right?
Nice.
Now I can do the latter. I can take a pumpkin from the store and I can veganize, whip it up a pumpkin pie.
Delicious pumpkin
But I
pie,
have
yeah.
not been very successful at all. Like I can get the plant, I can get a really good long vine going, I can get flowers, but only male flowers.
Yeah.
And I've got bumblebees and all sorts of like pollinators going. So this time I started them in the ground. And I have all 6 that I planted have popped out. So
Nice.
I've got leaves at least right now.
Let's see. I hope to eat your pumpkin pie later.
I'm hoping.
Later today.
No, not today. But the only like not successful thing is the petunias. And I've even
We can't eat petunias, so that's all right.
yeah, that's true. But I wanted some pretty purple flowers.
Wait, can you eat petunias? Maybe. No.
Nah.
You probably don't want to eat flowers.
We've got a lot of critters coming into the yard this year that we didn't have last year.
Yeah, including one that we just helped get out of the...
We're just coming down off of a high of rescue of a bird.
Yeah.
Earlier this month, we had a squirrel visit us. Now, I know what you're saying. Oh, no, squirrels are pests. But, you know, I'm cool to all animals, and I respect them all. And we have bird feeders, and the birds make a hell of a mess. So the squirrel's just cleaning up after that. Their name is Squirrely McFluffytail. And so far, so good. Not too crazy,
Yeah.
but we'll see how it goes.
We will see how it goes. I think it's interesting that the squirrel has been completely uninterested in the garden, which is completely accessible, and has only been interested in the bird leavings.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say leavings because that's like poop.
Yeah.
Like just the seeds and stuff they knock out of the feeder, right? Mm-hmm. But so is Kaylee, right? She scored herself an almond and then tried to like sneak it into the house.
Silly doggy.
Yeah.
And so I also leave whole peanuts like in the shell on the fence for the crows.
Crow friends.
Because I got to have me some, okay, that's another life goal, right? Yeah. I got to have me some crow treasure.
Yeah.
Now, if crows like you and they're thankful for what you offer them, they will bring like little things, like little treasures, like little like shiny things or little pieces of, yes, trash or garbage or whatever, but it's supposed to be sacred. And I, being like a pagan-y kind of lady, I want it badly.
Yeah, I feel like your priorities are straight in line and that these are great life goals.
It's an enormous priority right now. Yep. So the fact that we have crows, there was a wild turkey recently that hops in our yard and like goes about her day and eats bugs and whatever, and then hops out. So that's kind of fun. I like it. I feel a little Snow White-ish, but I'm doing good.
They feel safe, right? They feel safe in our presence because we don't attack or make them feel bad.
Yeah. The birds sing up a crazy storm out there, so.
Yeah, we got a lot of birds, but, you know, we've had bird feeders for a while, so they're telling each other, like, oh, that's the house.
Yeah, I hope so.
That's the one. That's the one with the feeders singing.
Yes. So that keeps me pretty busy.
Yeah, you are spending a lot of time out of doors, making a little sanctuary for yourself and for the family back there.
It's the only thing that keeps my brain quiet. If I'm doing that, I'm only focusing on that, and I don't feel yucky.
Yeah, video games and board games do that for me.
Yeah.
Like being outside doesn't, because I have allergies, and so like
I'm starting to get I have been a cat. I've had cats my whole entire life. I've had dogs my whole entire life. I've been an outside kid my whole entire life. But since we moved here, I felt like I now have cat allergies. So every time Dolly tries to sit on my chest the way she does, I feel like I can't breathe and my nose itches like crazy. My eyes water.
I don't think that's an allergy as much as that. She just is constantly spewing hair and she's sitting on your chest.
I guess. She gave us quite a scare. What the hell was that?
I don't know. I don't want to.
I go to get groceries.
I don't want to talk about it because it was, first of all, I feel like an idiot. And secondly, it was pretty emotional. And I don't want to go.
She's 16.
Yeah.
And she had like a moment where she just kind of like she kind of passed out kind of a thing. And I left to go to pick up groceries, and you call me, and I go, oh no. And so I come all the way back home, and I get home and she's fine. And then you guys are like, no, 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 she wouldn't let us touch her. She looked like she was going to die.
No,
like,
I was 100% certain that she was going to die, which is why I told you to come home, because I didn't know if she would live long enough for you to come say goodbye.
Oh, my Lanta.
Because she was acting exactly the same way that Trinity did right before Trinity passed. And I don't mean like, this illness leading up to her passing, but the night of her passing, when she just stopped kind of moving and just had her mouth open and she was like,
so sad.
That's what she was doing. Like, it was the weirdest thing. Yeah. And then she like got up and got into a corner right before you came home. And I was like, okay, cats do that. Like, if a cat thinks it's going to pass away, it'll go hide.
Right.
So that's not totally weird. Mm-hmm. But then by the time you got home, she was like wagging her tail and alert again. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
She like took a poop in a weird place, which is also cats saying, hey, there's something wrong, communicating. Then she puked. Then she like walked like drunk and fell on her face and then just laid like stiff on her side with her mouth locked open.
Right.
Was moaning and not responding to like.
She had a very senior moment.
I don't know.
Scared us all.
It was really scary. I had the boys say goodbye to her because I thought for sure this is,
You got to go quick.
Yeah.
I've had cats my whole life, and no cat until I was an adult and I got to have control over keeping my cats inside and what I fed them and how I took care of them. I didn't have cats that lived very long as a kid. Yeah. Because we had to keep them outside. There was no other. Yeah,
that's dangerous.
But the two cats that I've had since becoming an adult, they've lived to 15 and 16 now. Yeah. So they're like my kid. Like my kid is 15. Yeah. So it's very sensitive thing. I love animals. I treasure them. They're my friends. And any bird that like accidentally hits the window or whatever, I make sure that they're okay until, that they're okay to fly away. I make sure that I look out for my living things around me. So, yes, I wanted to be there if my cat was having a moment. Yeah. But she's okay right now.
Yeah, she's been fine since. It's like the weirdest thing.
She's very much back to normal. Yeah. I think the kids are way more attentive to her right now because of that, because they're like, whew, that was tense.
Yeah, I mean, they should be, right? Like, I don't know. The thing with Trinity is she started acting weird, and we took her to the vet.
$400 later.
And they told us to do a bunch of stuff.
She just had diabetes.
That stuff made her sicker.
Yeah,
the stuff that they told us to do made her sicker, and then she died. And so I'm like really reluctant to do those kinds of things with Dolly. I don't want to accelerate whatever's wrong.
Exactly.
Right? Mm-hmm. And if we take her in and they're like, oh, she's on her last legs, let's just put her down. Again, I don't want to accelerate. I don't want her to suffer. If she starts to suffer, then we can have that conversation. But I don't know. Maybe we should take her to the vet. I just, the last time we took a cat to the vet, it went bad. Yeah. It went bad.
That person looked me in the eye and said, you have a very healthy cat. Yeah. She just has diabetes. Right. And that's why she's getting thinner. Because she lost a little bit of weight. And I was like, she's been a huge ass cat her entire life. She's part wild, for crying out loud. I
called her the CEO for the longest time.
She's a fat cat. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Oh. And she was losing weight. And so we took her in. They're like, you have a very healthy cat. She's just got diabetes. Here's this special diet that costs 3 times as much as what she's eating right now. Just put her on that and she'll be fine. Yeah. Cut to 2 weeks later, she's still losing weight and now she can't get up. Yep. So and that cost me $400 plus food. Yeah. No. Mm-mm. No, thank you. Yeah. I will accept whatever the universe has for her and for me. I will accept that, but I will not be like pushing doctors and needles and medicines in anyone's face ever.
Yeah. I mean,
I will not do that. There is a more of a natural way to be and to go through things. And she just had a very senior, elderly moment, which she is a very elderly cat. And, you know, she's back to normal within a few hours afterwards. And so I'm going to go with that. I'm going to trust her to know that, you know, what's best.
Yeah.
That's all you can do. You know, and I've had lots of different kinds of animals, even with you, especially with you, because I know you gave me 2 little tiny rats for Mother's Day one year, and I raised them till they were like 3, and that's unheard of that rats can live that long. Yeah. I've had fish, I've had dogs, I've had cats, and that they don't live very long because they're beautiful beings, and they're not supposed to. They're not supposed to live a long time.
Animals have a lower life expectancy than humans, but at the same time, it's sad, right?
Yeah, it is sad because all that love you have for that being has nowhere to go.
Plus also, like, a lot of the domesticated animals that we get as pets are, you know, scientifically bred.
Exactly.
In ways that make them less robust, right? Like if you found a rat in the wild, it can probably live a lot longer than a domesticated pet rat.
Right. Because it was like a purebred, whatever.
Right. You know, same thing with, well, I don't know for sure, like how long coyotes and wolves live, but I would assume it's about around the same as a domesticated dog. But then there are some dog breeds that definitely have shorter lifespans, or they have built-in you know, problems,
complications.
Pugs have a lot of breathing issues.
Our Chihuahua has a tracheal collapse, and she has like asthma attacks right now.
Right?
Yeah, but we've handled it with like certain tricks and tips that you can, like if your dog is doing that honking, snorting thing, it's a tracheal collapse. They're and then they panic naturally. So you're supposed to plug one nostril.
I don't know, if I had a tracheal collapse, I'd panic too.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
Sounds terrible.
But Bryce and I go running, and we plug one of her nostrils, and that way she's forced to calm herself down and breathe through one side of her nose, and it works every single time. Yeah. It calms her down enough that she's getting a little bit of air, but it's better than snorting and like freaking herself out and getting all like tense, and it works every single time.
She's getting up there in age too, and Kaylee too.
Yeah, they're both 13.
Yeah.
So I know, but I love animals. I love them. I love
them as well.
And it's terrible when they are getting old and you look at their face and they're a little bit more gray, or their eyes are a little cloudy, but they deserve all that compassion and love.
Yeah, I agree.
So, anyways.
On a more interesting note, just joking. I was trying to do a segue into something that wouldn't actually be better, or on a what would you say, on a cheerier note.
Oh, there you go.
Let's talk Bone Tomahawk.
Oh my heaven's sakes. That movie.
No, I don't want to give spoilers in case anybody hasn't seen it. Although it is from 2015, but we can just say
the movie Bone Tomahawk was, in its own way, pretty dang good, but extremely violent, extremely like, what the fuck? Yeah. And Kurt Russell, like, come on.
Yeah, I think though I'm starting to have zero tolerance for like depictions of indigenous people
that's a problem.
Frame them as like savage monsters.
Right.
And this movie definitely toes that line.
Yes. Without
spoilers, I don't want to,
The only save that it had was there was an indigenous person in the movie saying, we even, these people have gone too far with things, and now they're, wild, right? Even to our people.
I kind of wish though that they would have made it like, I don't know, something else, like they weren't actually indigenous people and they were like predators or something from a different planet. I don't know. It just didn't sit right completely with me. And I didn't really understand where it was going. But then again, almost every single Western movie shines a poor light.
Very poor light.
Right. A poor light on indigenous people. And they almost to the point, I don't know that this movie did this, but a lot of Westerns will like depict the white men as like saviors of the land or heroes for killing, X amount of native people.
Yes.
And I don't know. I'm not in, like when I was a kid, it was just, that's the stories that you were told and that's the history you were taught.
Yes.
And so I didn't think a lot of it.
Or lack of, yeah.
Yeah, but the older I get, the more I'm getting the real education of the world and I'm like, this isn't okay.
Absolutely.
And then I also learned recently, this was very interesting to keep it in indigenous, the American Sign Language has some roots in something called hand talk, which was how indigenous people talked to each other in the Americas for a long time. But in some ways, American Sign Language has stripped away some of those roots. But there is a small group of people who still speak the original hand talk.
Oh, wow.
And they're trying to keep it alive in the ASL community and try to merge those words in and stuff.
Isn't that lovely how so many things that, us as just the average, going about our lives people don't understand about where things actually come from.
Yeah.
And it's most of the time Black, brown, or indigenous people who
white people have erased that.
Yeah, who it started with.
Claimed it for their own, yeah.
Yeah, and who are trying so hard to keep that part alive, and we're just trying to say, yeah. I find it very fascinating and also very sad at the same time.
Yeah, I'm really interested in learning more and more about like indigenous culture in this country and in other countries too, because it's not only in America that indigenous people have been treated poorly, right? It's anywhere over that there's been white colonization, right? So exactly. Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, anywhere that there was indigenous people, and then now it's mostly white people.
Yes.
You feel pretty safe to know that you did some horrific shit in your history, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I think it's upon us now. It's not our fault now, but it is our duty to learn, and it is our duty to understand
and prevent history from repeating itself. Yeah. And also to try to, one person at like our level in society can't do much, but if we aren't participating and we are fighting against that system, even in the smallest ways, we're no longer contributing to it anymore or benefiting. Well, we're still benefiting from it because there's nothing we can do about society at large preferring white people, right? Like that's not something we can change by ourselves at our level of society, right? But we can make sure that when we interact with people who are marginalized, that we help them in any way that we have the power to help them and minimize our impact on their day-to-day lives, right? Yeah. And maximize any good outcomes that we can help them achieve by getting out of the way or listening or learning or
just being respectful.
Right. Helping in any way that we can. So I've been thinking about it a lot lately because
I understand. There's a lot of it a
lot of injustice.
A lot of it. And a lot of hatred.
Yeah.
And sometimes that doesn't make sense.
The hatred never makes sense. It's just so weird. It's so weird. It's such a weird thing to hate somebody based on a trait that they didn't choose or have any control over. Right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's okay, just to be clear, I don't think it's okay to like hate fat people. But if you were like, oh, fat people bother me, that's at least something that person, if they feel like they want to, can try to change about themselves. But if you're like, oh, I hate black people, what? Okay, what good does that do?
Right.
They cannot change anything about being a black person, right?
And they shouldn't have to.
No, they don't have to.
Yes.
That's not what I'm saying.
No,
what I'm
yeah,
saying is it's a trait that they were given randomly, luck
Just
of the draw.
just like anyone.
Just like anyone.
Yeah.
That is immutable. It can't be changed.
Yeah.
And so hating them for that is just it makes zero sense. It's so illogical.
I know. Every time we hear something, it just makes my heart sink because it's just I don't understand it. I don't think I ever will, but I know for me, it has to start with me, and then the people around me, I can help influence, and I can help other people, feel comfort or at least be respected. And that's all I can do. I can't do anything other than that. And, I hope that more people do that, is at the very, very least.
Yeah, I did want to talk briefly about what happened in Buffalo.
I know, that's what I was thinking of. I just don't,
and
I don't know how to really say exactly. That shouldn't be a thing.
No, it's the most disgusting thing in the world, but I want to pay tribute just by saying their names.
Okay.
Roberta A. Drury, 32, of Buffalo. Margus D. Morrison, 52, of Buffalo. Andre McNeil, 53, of Auburn, New York. Aaron Salter, 55, of Lockport, New York. Geraldine Talley, 62, of Buffalo. Celestine Cheney, 65, of Buffalo. Hayward Patterson, 67, of Buffalo. Catherine Massey, 72, of Buffalo. Pearl Young, 77, of Buffalo. And Ruth Whitfield, 86, of Buffalo. And I encourage folks to go and Google and learn more about these people, because they were just grocery shopping. They weren't doing anything that deserved to be terrorized and murdered in cold blood. And the only reason they were targeted is because of the color of their skin, which is just...
how much melanin they have in their skin.
It's just so...
It's asinine.
It's really asinine, but I don't know how we change that about the world.
I change it within myself, and I change it for our children.
Yeah. We raise children who go into the world and understand that our differences are what
makes us great.
Yeah.
We lift those people up who are affected, and we respect.
Love and light out to their families and loved ones.
We respect them.
Yep. Okay. The world is fucked right now. It's fucked.
In a lot of ways.
In a ton of ways.
We can't give up.
We got to, I don't want to say we got to come together and,
no,
because that's not what we have to do.
We have to call out shit when we see it.
Yeah, we do.
Now is not the time. I have it on my Facebook, on my header. It's not the time for nicety or civility in an apocalypse. Now is not the time.
Yep.
If you know of something or someone is doing stupid shit, call them out on it.
Yep.
Do something about that.
Stand up, especially if you're white. Especially
only if you're white. You have.
Well, I mean,
it's a white problem.
It is a white problem, but what I'm saying is, that's what I'm saying, right? Is
yes.
If you're white, it's much more your duty to stand up and say, hey, don't fucking talk to people like that.
Absolutely.
Or, I think you're crossing the line there. We're getting into territory that doesn't have any place here.
Yeah.
Right? Just anything you can do to try to prevent it, hate from propagating, right?
Yeah.
If I was thinking about this a lot, like in most people's day-to-day lives that are white, we don't run across, if we're not actively participating in overt hate crime and racism, we don't come across it a lot, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have a ton of opportunities to combat it.
Right.
So you have to look at other ways in which racism is penetrating the society, right?
Yeah.
It's not just those overt, like the N-word and like
Right.
this terrorist that went to Buffalo and murdered 10 people
Yeah.
and injured 3 others.
Yeah. It's
not just stuff like that.
It doesn't start with picking up a gun.
No.
That
It starts
idiot.
at home. It starts with small things.
Yes, and that they were allowed to keep saying and keep doing and
Right.
keep thinking.
Yeah.
They were given that free reign.
Right.
It
And
doesn't
the media
like
driving at home, black
Yeah.
on black crime. That is not real.
right.
That's not a real thing, right?
It's
But
nonsense.
It's society in general saying you are in favor if your skin is light, and you are othered if your skin is dark.
yeah.
And that doesn't make any sense. It's completely bullshit, but it's the way the whole system is structured. And we have to dismantle it one brick at a time. And those bricks aren't always going to be a gun with the N-word written on it. Those bricks are sometimes going to just be,
Yeah.
oh, you're so articulate.
It's
Little tiny things
It doesn't
like
start
that.
with murder.
No, it starts with devaluing and dehumanizing people based on a single trait. That's where it starts, and it's not just Black people. It's Indigenous people. It's brown people. It's Jewish people. It's
Every person who thinks other than
LGBTQIA.
yes, it's everyone who thinks differently
Yeah.
or
It's not even-
is differently
Then what? Then the white.
than white.
Then white Christians.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Whatever.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I don't want to get too. I am angry about it because it's fucking stupid.
Yep. It is.
Anyways, I
agree.
live my life in a way that I'm trying to maximize what I can do for marginalized people with the power, the small amount of power that I have as a white man, and then minimize as much as possible any harm that my existence is doing to those same marginalized people. Right?
With tons and tons and loads amount of respect.
Yeah. It just, yeah. All right.
So if you're helping,
I don't know that we can,
keep helping.
I don't know that we can move on from this topic.
No, that's fine.
So I think we're just going to call it there and just let those names resonate. And I beg of you, if you're a white person and you haven't looked into these people that were murdered, do it. Go Google them and find out more about them, because they were amazing human beings that were just at the wrong place and
And we're murdered.
they were murdered for the crime of being Black while grocery shopping, which is so disgusting.
It's not even a word for that.
It is. I just said it. It's fucking awful. Anyways, just spread love and try to conquer hate as much as you can. Anything else is a life wasted. I love you.
I love you too.
If you enjoyed this episode of the Lou and Me podcast, subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, or Spotify.
And follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Lou and Me Podcast.
Lou and Me is a Matthiasaurus production, produced and edited by Moose. The song is No Carpets by the New Forevers, hosted by Lou and me.
Thanks for listening.